Alrighty, Doc here from North America. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Monday. Thank goodness it's Monday. And the markets are being the markets as we usually see. You see the dollar. We have the dollar index up on there. We're still having a problem starting the J4X again. I got a message from DocDow. I have to go check it out, but I don't have the time to go after it now. Or maybe we could just take a quick peek, if nothing else. Let's see. So if we go here, go there, do a little click diddy-doo-dah, put it up on the screen. See if we can get J4X up there. And where's it at? Right there. So let's do this. There we go. D-E-M. There's D-E-M. And let's go with 0, 2. And let's see, where is it at this point? HQ. There we are. And then let's try putting it in there like so. And there we go. And authentication, and it says failed 801. So we'll have to go try to figure out what that issue is. We got it to work on Thursday, so we'll get that figured out. I think it has something to do with the IP address. Anyhow, at least you see I did try. Exactly. At least we did try. Matter of fact, I'm going to just leave it over there on the corner, just to remind everybody. All right, and let's get back up the beta at this point. Where's the beta hiding? Is that it? Is that it? Right there. There's the beta. And there is the beta chart. Let's see how it looks over here. Let's check the chat line, see if anybody is even visiting this morning, being a Monday morning. It's like, oh, they don't, people were like, oh, there's Robin. Hey, Robin. There we are. And so you can see there is there's the over there in the left corner there. We're just going to leave it there. That's that is the J4X not wanting to function, and let the 801 sit up there so at least everybody knows I tried. All right, from there, we are looking at the dollar index this morning. Ooh, let's see who this is. Interesting. Some electric poles have come down in the area, but they're not having an effect on us here, so that's fine. It's just about 10 miles away, so that's all right. Or we'd say 15 kilometers, something like that. It's 15 kilometers away, so it's not too bad. All right, what we're looking at this morning is, there's no doubt about it, we are seeing, where's it, Bitcoin flying, zipping, running like a wild animal. I don't, to me that's not wild animal. Anything's possible at this point, and since I've gone through so many eras of market situations, it makes sense to me. You can see right there, it's a good strong day today, right there, starting off, making a new all-time high. You see we've been in that weekly now for 6 full weeks. It's been very solid, very solid. That is the cash. Do we have GTB? Is it, what's that one, Robin, that we follow around here? There it is right there, GBTC. Let's see how that looks. That's looking pretty much the same way. It's also 6 weeks in a buy. Okay. And then when we slide back to the dollar index itself, we see the pressure on that also at the same time. So we're seeing a combination of different pressures, a couple different directions. There's talk like, oh, I don't know, we should always buy a little Bitcoin just in case. It has that attitude. Okay, cool. And so at this point in time, we're at a situation now where money is finally appreciating the crypto sector as a another equity. In other words, it's another equity sector. So in other words, when you really think about it, we have what do we have? We have stocks. That's an equity sector. There's bonds. That is an equity sector too. And then we have currencies. That's an equity sector. Then you have commodities. They're an equity center. No, those are all things worth value. And now there is blockchain technology, and that has become another sector that people were starting to get comfortable with, and that's a good thing. Because it's a good tool to move capital, be it legal or illegal capital. And the end result is it's a good tool, and that's all it comes down to. You don't think the illegal stuff is being moved in other ways and we don't realize it also? The pretend, what it really comes down to is some politicians don't like letting go of the power. That's what it comes down to. They want to have the power to be able to tell you that confiscate your assets. So that's pretty much where we're standing at the moment, and we're seeing there the dollar index kind of flattish for the day, but still a little bit down. You see that nice big dip down they did on Friday. The pressure's on. We're seeing, let's just throw this up on the screen at the same time. I think it's ZBF. Yeah, there it is. That is the bond. And you can see this is the 30-year Treasury bond. And what it's doing is it's slowly climbing up, up, up. It's been doing that. And when it goes up, the interest rates go down. This is the price of the bond. And so when this bond went down in price, interest rates rose. And so you can see right here that they're trying to get back up into this 124 area. And we're sliding today, looks like it, into the weekly buy. So that's a pretty good thing. It's been in a weekly sell throughout this whole situation. Now, I'm almost sure that, matter of fact, that's the beta. So that's last week. So we're in a weekly buy last week, not this week. This week, let's go over onto the other platform, and we will see. All right. Oops, let's just close that. Okay. And there's the 30-year bond. Yeah, and it went into the weekly buy 2 weeks back. It went into the weekly buy 2 weeks back. It's been in I'm not sure what's going on with that. Why is there two green lines there? Something doesn't make any sense there, but we'll just throw that in there like that. Then it went into the sell there. Let's steal that sell like that. Went into the sell and then climbed into the buy right there. There it is right there. And that's where we stand at the moment when it comes to the... see, we just changed contracts too. The front month now, that's why they're a little out of whack. The front month is... let's just go like that. Put that there. And let's see, move this over to there. And then I guess we could change that. Leave that there. And then put that in there. And there's your sell right there. So this is the bond yield and price basically you're looking at, but we only know that we're looking at the price because you can see the numbers on the right here. It doesn't show you yield. So as this is rising, interest rates are going down. And when interest rates go down, we can basically say very comfortably, you'll see this looks like a mirror image, you'll see the dollar index go up. And vice versa. Now we'll see right here the dollar index, because the bond is rising in price, the dollar index will be dropping in price. And see, there it is, dropping in price. And we went into the weekly sell last week, and somewhere in the middle of last week, and it's pressing down, and that is the and that is the way it rolls. Oh, how about that? 50 people injured after Boeing 787 hit with mid-flight technical event. Sounds like an air pocket to me. Let's see what that says. I want to see what that is all about. The Dreamliner in South America. In the U.S. last week, let's see. Yeah, in South America. That makes sense because of all that tough weather that they've been having. And they had an air pocket last week. That makes sense. I mean, they were flooding right across the whole continent. There was heavy flooding everywhere. Okay. Just thought I'd take a peek at that. When they put headlines up like that, I want to see what it says. All right. So, where are we at this point? We miles ahead over to the euro. Let's and sip my coffee at the same time. Oh, are we done? Let's just double check everything else too at the same time. Let's go back over to the dollar index. I'm going to do it on the beta. Right there. And so there it is. There is the bond. And we'll show it to you again here. Here is the dollar index. And what other product can we actually align real quick here just for fun? You know what? Usually gold. When interest rates drop, okay, gold and silver go up in value. And so we're going to show you that too at the same time. And let's do that. There is the gold. And then we'll come back to it when we take a look at the South African rand. But there is the gold right there. And the gold has been, just following along beautifully. Just it's all moving in the same direction. We're looking at a good solid 3 weeks in a weekly buy. Or is it 4 now? Yep, it is 3. Why is that green? Let's just make that bigger. See what's going on there. Trying to figure out where is it at. There's the white. Where's the white here? It was at 0, so I guess, I don't know. Did it actually close at 0? You see the blue line is, can't even tell. I guess the blue line was trying to go. But I guess I could say this very comfortably, and that is we're at least 3 weeks on the beta in a weekly buy right there. Let's try that again. Right there. Ba-doom. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. All right, now let's go over to the euro and see what the euro is doing today. And there is the euro. We'll throw it up on the screen. And I guess Monday is tough. People don't have much questions. They're just kind of coming out of the weekend fog. Sometimes you get some bad ice with those drinks, and next thing you know, you're really feeling a headache of some form. All right, there it is. This is the euro, and it closed in the weekly buy in the middle of last week. You see the strength of it. It confirmed it. When it breaks through that manifold, it's closing. It's a 99% chance that it's not going to close. I mean, it's 99% chance it's going to close. It's a 99% chance that it won't close at a buy, and it did, as usual. And so it's very rare for us to even find. It's even higher than that. That's like 99 point something. You see the euro against the dollar trying to lift back up, which would make total sense because we see the interest rates dropping. And we see the dollar pairs trades in the contract or the index dropping. And so that's what we're seeing there is we're seeing the pairs trades lift. I did run through the currencies this morning. I was really surprised to see how they're taking Mr. and Mrs. Turkish Lira up. Unfortunately, we've been saying that we're looking for the 37 now, and I'm not really happy about saying that out loud. And for a while, I refused to say it out loud. I just kept on saying we're in a weekly buy. But it is getting beat up, and when we start going through the currencies today, you're going to see that again. Unfortunately, it is. And my sip of the tea again. Coffee in this case. We're drinking coffee again. All right. From there, we'll go over to cable. And there is the British pound right there. Same situation. Off a little bit today. Was euro off a little bit? Let me just double check. Just a tad. Just a very small amount off. Now, cable's giving back a little bit. But it's still in the buy. They're both in buys. They're both in weekly buys. So the buyers are coming in on a longer-term weekly basis. They're coming in on a shorter-term daily basis. And if anybody wants to see the intraday, just let us know. We'll go tune in on it. And from there, we take a look at the Swiss. And there is the Swiss. You can see Swiss has been in a sell, which means it's gaining against the dollar for the last 5 days. They're fighting inflation over there in Switzerland, so it's not as fast and strong as it has been for the last 6-7 months. But for the last 2 months now, they are fighting inflation. So, we give them kudos because they seem to be able to wake up to the fact literally in weeks. Whereas it took Mr. Powell and Mr. Biden and Mrs. Yellen, it took them 15 months to figure out that they were fighting inflation. Strange people they are. All right. Then from there, we go over to the yen. Now the yen went into a daily sell a couple days back, and it really is gliding down, and it closed in a weekly sell on Friday with no problem, breaking that manifold point, I believe. But right there, we're in the sell now, and let's go find a sell. There's a sell. Let's just move it over like that. And then like that. There we are. And so it closed in the sell right there. I guess it was last week it did. Right there. And the pressure is on the downside. And we also notice, let's go over there and we'll show it to you. Let's show you the Nikkei. So let's shift over into the beta again. And let's put the Nikkei in there, like so. There it is right there. Nikkei's moving down. Oh, let's put it up there so you can see it. You can see for the last 3 days, they've been moving it down. And then that's, it kind of, we know that the Nikkei is reflecting the inflation of the country itself in Japan. I mean, we've seen basically the currency in the last year and a half to go from like 105, 110 range, bouncing around in there for a long while, like a year or two, and then all of a sudden falling, or in this case, it rises all the way up to 152, and that is the that's just an inflation. In other words, that's your currency goes from 1 and it goes to 1.5. That's an inflation. It's going up 50%. That's a lot. That is a lot. So we know that is the action we're seeing, and so we can see here on the beta. See how it's moving down. Where's that? Right there. You see, this action right there. All that action of moving down. Whoa! Let's do that right back there again. So it's been moving down for the last 3 days. It's come down from all-time highs of the 40,500-ish area. Now we're down to 38,000. And again, there's your answer to this one right here. Let's show you the cryptos again. And that's why the Bitcoin is acting so firm, because they're not, Bitcoin investors are basically trying to tell the world that, these politicians are doing very strange things and they're hurting the currencies, and, they're basically coming up with different things that shouldn't be, I guess you could say, when it comes to the financial markets. So it really puts some pressure on the Nikkei to go down. They'll sell stocks because the currency is going down. In other words, it's interesting. Currency gains in value, the stock market loses in value. It's definitely one of the more unique things that occurs that people are not really comfortable with. How that plays. So, all right. So from there, what is that? That's the we're looking at the Bitcoin and we're looking at the yen. Let's do this. Let's go find the yen on an intraday basis. Right there. See if it's there. Right now we have the stock market on it. We'll wait for it to fill in. What currencies have filled in? There's silver. That's interesting. Silver's marching along. All right, we'll come back to that. That's not the most important thing. We have the intradays going, and since no one's asking for it, no reason for me to go take a look at it on a whim. All right, from there, we shoot back over again to the currencies, and let's put it up on the screen, like so, right there. And that's the yen, and showing a weakness. Now, what's interesting is when it goes down, it's gaining. I know some people must be like, "Oh my God, Doc, what are you talking about?" Let me think. It's going down, but it's gaining against the dollar. Yep, that's the way it works. It's a it's a whole combination of that factor. That's the way it works. And so when you look at bonds and they go up in price, interest rates are dropping. When you're looking at the yen and it's going down in price, it's gaining against the dollar. So there's less. What it comes down to is just less. All right. From there, what else are we going to go take a quick look at? Let's go take a look at the Great Experiment. There it is right there. Another all-time high today. And at the moment, it's trading at an all-time closing high today, above 35. Now the high, all-time high, is now 35.45. So unfortunately, when we saw it building this base in here, we became concerned and thought it was going to go to 37. And here we are now, almost up to 35.5. I don't think there's a particular reason why they need to panic it. Just let it drift, and but we, in our our decades of experience, are very concerned with the idea that we have now come to a point where we're seeing this particular currency act the way it is, to the point where we think it's going to have some real issues now for a long while. It doesn't look like the experiment is working, and I'm becoming concerned that we're going to see this thing kind of take the path of the ruble, the currency that will not be named. That's the way I look at it. It's like it's definitely not what it used to be. Let's put it that way. Things are definitely having their issues. Having strong issues, and there's no stopping it at this point. Whatever idea they think they're doing, I guess they keep on devaluing things over there, hoping that assets will come into the country. I guess you could say this. They've taken a lesson from China. China kept their currency really cheap for a long time now, and so it brought in investors. But now the investors are finding out that they can't get their money out of the country, or they can't get paid on what they invested in, and that's really making things, become worse and worse and worse for China. And we watched this, and unfortunately we saw that coming many years ago, and we've talked about it here on the webinars. We're saddened for it because we're very big on free markets, free people. And we think that the more countries that will practice free markets and free people, the world will be a richer and healthier place for it. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the action we're seeing, and that really hurts everything around us. All right. From there, we go over to the South African rand. Right there. And the rand has been sliding down softly. We find this particular product another issue. I just cannot stop saying this over and over again, unfortunately, because when you're trying to describe what's going on in some of these products, it's not fair to pretend to pretend things that don't exist. It's like Mr. Biden saying, he's cut the deficit by $1 trillion. He has not cut the deficit by $1 trillion. He's added $7 trillion to it. And it's wrong in a financial webinar to actually just ramble ideas that cannot be even remotely justified or proven. And so, we try to talk reality here. And we try to keep on explaining to everybody what is going on and why it's going on. This way, when you see it stopping, then you know that it's a good thing, not a bad thing. And so in this case here, the South African rand seems to be honest, it's really freaky, but it's almost like 30% underpriced. We think the South African rand, the way it has traded for like the last 15 years, should be around 13 and a half, 14, when you compare it to gold. But right now, it's not even close. So in other words, gold is at an all-time high, and the rand is not trading down at like. That's why we miss J4X. Because we love being able to put these things up on J4X, and you get a chance to see historically, where they are, and it gives you a better flavor of the shorter term participation, and the interest in a individual product. And so we know right now that South African rand it's trading at 1870, as you see right there up on the screen. And compared to the way gold trades, see, I try to make that clear. We don't just say these things like a Biden would do, and not have a way of justifying it. It's the rand no more than 2 years ago was in the 13s and 14s with gold at the $1,700 area, the $1,600 area, and now we're seeing gold trading at let's put it up on the screen here. Let's put it up on one of these screens at least. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do it on the beta. And there it is right there. And gold is trading at almost $2,200. And the South African rand, as you can see, it's trading at 1870. Now we have some capacity to go back, say, a year and a half or something like that. And let's see if I go like this. If I do that little spinny thing, it'll help. You can see there's 17 back in last year in February, March, like now. Okay, it was in the 17s, and at the time, gold was trading in the 16s. So we're seeing the South African rand. This is all to do with their president and their issues that they're having, and it's not really much that can be said about it at this point. He refuses to resign. I'm going on 2 years now, and the country sees its currency pulling the move that we're seeing, where it hangs out up in the 18s and 19s, and it's like, wow. And you would think that gold is trading at like $1,500 an ounce or something like that, $1,400 an ounce. It's not at all. All right, so let's see, what else can we say about that? There is the gold. We might as well look at some of the other products over in the metal sector. And from there is, let's see, silver. There's silver. You can see silver trading, at least it's almost 50% off its all-time high now. It's showing some good life in it. It's been in a weekly buy since the middle of January here. So that's pretty good. And now, 2 months later, almost at this point, it's still climbing, and you can see the product that was in the 23s and 22s back then. They're right around there, right in that area. And now we're at the 24.5. We've picked up $2 an ounce. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, there is the silver on an intraday basis. Let's see if we can show you that. Let's see if we can change that back too. Boy, is that go like that. There we are. There's the intraday. You see it up there in the 24.66 area. We're only off 5 cents. And then Mr. and Mrs. Gold, again, as we showed you before. And there's the June contract. It's trading at $2,100.84. I'm sorry, $2,184. Yeah, that's some real hefty action you're getting out of that. Go back to that. Still quiet. No one out there. Interesting day. I guess nobody. Also, the time change might have some effect too. There might have shown up an hour ago thinking we're here, and on their own local time. Remember, we're following GMT time, Greenwich Mean Time. There it is, right there. Who is that? Alrighty. So, there is, who's left now? I guess what we could do is we go over and take a look at platinum. We've seen silver and gold. Let's see how the platinum is acting today. And copper's been acting pretty firm also. Here's copper right there. We'll throw that up real quick. It's making a bounce from Friday's little sell-off, but it went into the buy on Thursday of last week. So is that right? Thursday, Friday? No, Wednesday. Wednesday of last week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and there's Monday. And you can see we've been in that weekly buy for 1, 2, 3, 4 solid weeks. And I guess with Bitcoin up over $3,000 today, boy, it's just singing out loud, saying, "Stop the shenanigans." When someone like the President of the United States says that he cut the deficit by $1 trillion when in fact he's increased it by $7 trillion, it's really hard for money managers to want to commit capital to things. That's probably why we're seeing the stock market's backing off at the moment. You see the dollar backing off. There's the stock market right there, and it's been so strong. So I mean, and it's you can see if we can do this. Can we widen this or something? Let's see if we can widen it. It looks so tight, Kind of like that, and then bring it down. There we are. So you can see it was up at the 52, even higher. It went to 5,257, and now we're at 5,173. So we're about 75 points off that. I mean, if we go and look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right there, like so, you can see this thing compared to where it was up here at the, what's that, the 39,343, and now we've pierced the 30, was that the 30, I guess it's 500, so it's 3,800, it dropped below 38,500, and the high there is 343. So you're looking at a 800-point drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the last 2 weeks. It's been feeling the pressure way more. You can see it is flirting with the weekly sell as we speak at the moment, just by the edges, just flirting with it. It's at 2240. Oh, wait a minute. We have the wrong product in there. Let's get that. Let's get the June product in there at this point. That's the front month now. June is the front month. March is expiring on Friday morning of this week. So it's not the front month anymore. YM. Add. Futures. YM. I'm punching the wrong keyboard. That's why it's doing that to me. YM. There it is. Look up. Let's cancel a couple of these things out here. Oh, let's try that again. So let's just go like that. And what can we get out of there? YM June 24 right there. Say okay, 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 okay. And close. And there's the June contract. And there we go. We start to see that action. It's loading up filling in, doing all that other stuff. I think we'll skip that. We can go over and let it fill in. Hit it close. It's doing a little calculating there. We'll just go back to the June contract right there on the S&P. And you can see it's at its lows of the last 4 or 5 days. Now, that was an interesting sell-off they had back there on, was that March 6th? They really slammed that. And I'm not sure if that was, anything particular worth, looking at, why. I don't remember what happened on that day, but I imagine it was, obviously they probably put pressure on all the markets. Now, there is the Tech 100, coming off of some highs here, but they're all still not, you can see it's playing with the daily right there, but it's not breaking the weekly yet. And that does seem to be staying in that fashion. They don't have direction. Money managers have to buy stocks on some level. That's what they're paid to do. And if someone's paying you to go buy stocks and they're handing you the money, then, why not? Go buy them. That's pretty much what the answer is. Now, most of the money managers seem to be underperforming the market anyway, so it's not like as if they're trying to stay, be successful that way. They just accept it. I think I told you the story. It really amazed me. I was watching, what's his name? Charlie Payne. He has a show on every day, and he was inviting, he was saying, oh, he has one of the best money managers of the last 10 years, and she's had a great year last year. And I'm thinking to myself, this was about 2 weeks ago. I'm thinking to myself, wow. I mean, I seen Nancy Tangler, on everywhere. And I'm thinking, boy, I didn't realize she had that great a year. And so he gets on the show, and he says she had a little more than 6% gain last year. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but the S&P 500 gained like, 20, 18%, 16%, something like that for the year. So she underperformed it. In other words, that's how we measure things around here. You compare them to other products. And then like the Tech 100 was up something like 33%, and then the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up like 14%, and she performed at a 6%, and he said that was one of the best performances of the year. So I have to look at that and say, wow, if Charles Payne, who's normally not, he doesn't pull Biden type statements, he's a pretty sharp guy. So if he's saying she was one of the top performers at 6%, that means a lot. That to me, it's like, wow. But when you compare it to the open market, or what they call the random walk, in other words, you look at the indexes themselves without money managers and how they perform, and that's what every money manager is trying to outperform. They're trying to outperform a particular index. So that's how we compare these things. I don't just pull them out of my head and think, okay, I'm going to tell you, they've underperformed, when in fact they may have overperformed. And that is the best way to try to understand and describe is, comparing things. Just like when we look at the South African Rand and we see it trading at almost 19 still, and we see gold now at all-time highs, we should be seeing, South African Rand trading around 13 or 14, something like that. Even could be as much as 12 if they had a dynamic, economy. Obviously, they don't have a dynamic economy, or they're not, because they're not outperforming. So that tells you that right there. But that's how we figure these things. We just don't say, okay, this one's good, this one's bad because of the way we like them or dislike them. We're comparing them to standards. Standards, that are disciplined, and they've been used forever and ever and ever for hundreds of years. Comparing a manager to the performance of a market. Matter of fact, that could literally be the title today, because we're trying to, we're looking at South African Rand. We looked at the Turkish lira. We're seeing how it underperforms the rest of the world, and we see at the same time we see something like the euro or the British pound or something like that. Well outperform a lot of the currencies. In other words, they stay inside of a range, and they don't, drift out of those ranges, and that keeps everything stable in the sense of money managers have the opportunity to compare the two, and that is what's amazing, is that alone is a perfect example of trying to understand how, in other words, normal standards of the market standards of the past are the benchmark. Yeah, so I guess standard. I see. Market standards. That's pretty much the way to describe it. Market standards are the benchmark to measure by. And that's when you're looking at currencies, or you're looking at stock indices, or money managers, or Bitcoin compared to the dollar. And that's what it comes down to. Market standards are the benchmark. They are the measure. I think that's the best way to describe it, instead of a benchmark. Solely because a lot of people probably are not, benchmarked. They're not really sure what I'm talking about. Are the measure. There we go. So that is the story, and that is what we're looking at, and that's how we look at, I can drift from product to product and try to compare them to other products and why they under or overperform, just as when you're buying the British pound and selling the dollar, or buying the British pound and selling the euro, depending on the pair that you're measuring it against. And that's where we stand now. And as we see, the stock markets, we see, the backing and filling of, let's go over here and just check them all out. Let's see. We did the metals. So now let's go check out the, let's put them up on here to beta. Usually we go right to the energies from here. But let's take a look around the world, since we see so much action. We'll show you, and then we'll come back to the energies. So in other words, we go over to the Pacific, basically, and we'll go take a look at the Kospi out of South Korea. And you can see here it's climbed very well since mid-January, that point there. It's climbed all the way up to 2,700, falling from 2,700 down to 2,450. And you can see here we've been in a weekly buy now for 8 weeks, and they're doing their thing there. Then we go over and we look at the Nikkei. And we've seen the Nikkei doing somewhat of the same thing. There's the Nikkei. And the Nikkei's been in a weekly buy for 10 weeks. And it's come from the 30. Now we're at a point where it's showing you from the 35,000, but no more than a couple of weeks ago that our chart showed the 33,000. So the product went from the 33,000 up to basically over the 40,000, which was an all-time high. And they finally, after 45, is it 45 years? No, it's 39 years. After 39 years, it finally broke the all-time high. So that was the action we saw out of that. Then we go over to, Miles will go see. So if we go from there, we'll go over to the All Ordinaries Index out of Australia. Same situation back in mid-January. They took off and they went from the 2,600 area all the way up to the, 76 area. 76 area up to the 81, 500-point move. And you can see 9 solid weeks in the weekly buy with that move. And then we go over to the Hong Kong. Let's take a look at the Hong Kong index. Right, where is it at? Right there. There's Hong Kong. And Hong Kong has been kind of in that same time period. It did, it had this big drop you can see right there from the 115 area down to the 95. That's that point we've pointed out before. Then it climbed back up to about 110, 111, and now we're at the lows of the last 4 months. And you can see here We've only been in a weekly buy for 2 weeks, and that was 2 weeks back, and now we are, 3 weeks ago, we're in the sells again. Then we go over and look at the Hang Seng, the big Chinese index out of Shanghai, and you can see here it was in the 16,000 area, fell down to the 15,000 area, climbed back up to almost 17,000, and now we are hovering in the 16.5. Can't really get much action out of it. We can say it's been in a weekly buy for 5 weeks, so there is some good solid, some good solid action there. There's no doubt about that. But that's what's so nice about having J4X. You can go back and look, and you can see that, that the index is almost 50% off of its all-time high. So they're not really reaching for that country's stocks. Then from there we go over to we have the Nifty 50 on here right there. Right there, there's the Nifty. I think that's the Nifty 50. Is that the Nifty 50? I think that is. What is this one too? The NES, NSE. I think that's the Nifty 50 right there. And the Nifty 50 came down. It fell down from 22,000 down to 21,000, and has climbed now to 22,500. And that has been showing that strength there for the last 5 weeks also. So there's some, we can see in the stock currencies in the Pacific how well they've been doing. And then you know how to trade their currencies. Because we've seen how these things pair with each other. The stocks are going up, the currencies are going down. It's that type of thing. And then we jump over to Europa. And we'll just take a look at the DAX right there. And there's the DAX. You see the DAX has been climbing like the rest of the active markets. 9 full weeks in a buy in Europe, showing it hesitating in the 17,000 area, and now it's climbed almost up to the 18,000 area. From there we look at the CAC 40 in Paris right there. See the same type of situation, and it's 9 weeks in a weekly buy too at the same time, and it's come from the 7,400 area or 7,500 area, basically all the way up to the 8,200 area, or no, I'm sorry, 8,000 area right there. And then we'll go take a look at the FTSE. There's the FTSE. FTSE's been in a weekly buy for 5 full weeks, going on a 6th week now. And at the same time, the currency, the index itself came off of that 7,400 area and has pushed itself up to the 7,700 area and is hanging out there. All right, now what we're going to do is do we have, I think if you have any other particular stock index you'd like to see, just give it a yell and we'll put it out there. But let's go show you like Brent, North Sea Brent oil, see what they're doing. There it is right there. Trading in that 82-ish to 84 area, bouncing around. A couple weeks in a buy, 2 full weeks. Heading for a 3rd week in a buy. We have West Texas Intermediate crude right there. Same situation. That thing's been in a buy for 10 weeks. I think it's starting to flirt with the weekly sell. I saw that it was trying to go after the weekly sell this morning. So we'll see how they play that out. And then we have natural gas, which on Thursday and Friday last week, I believe they pushed it down. Yeah, they started pushing it down Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And this $1.50 to $2 area seems to be like some type of range now. And we've been in a weekly sell now for 8 whole weeks. It's climbing, that's for sure, right there. And then we take a look at the energy company right there. There's the energy company in Spain. And that's showing us 10 full weeks in a sell. And we've come down from $27 all the way down to $20. Flirting down at the bottom there. Just flirting away with that area. So now, let's see. We can show you a couple on the other platform. Right there. And there is let's see if they filled in that Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there. The June contract. There it is. You can see flirting with that weekly. And that's at 28 now. And at the same time, you can see the daily's been in the sell for 5 days. That doesn't seem to make sense there, but we'll have to double check that because it should be right there. That's that nice big drop they did last Monday. And then from there, let's see, well, so there's the platinum. Platinum is, we keep on saying it's awful hard to believe. You can see it's in the weekly buy. We were waiting for the platinum to fill in. We're awful hard to believe anybody would want to sell platinum short. When you go into a jewelry store or try to buy it physically, the product is trading over the price of gold. But when you look at it on the exchange floor, it's trading 50% discount. It takes a 50% haircut. It's like, whew, something doesn't seem right there. Seems like it's way off course. And that's that sip of the coffee again. What else can we talk about here? Well, we've done them all now, right? The currencies, we've done the metals, we've done the energies, we've talked about interest rates, we've looked at the cryptos, we've drifted into all the stock indices around the world where we're trying to make our case here by measurement, by standards, that when a currency is moving one way, it's a stock indice can be moving the opposite direction. In the case of the yen is gaining against the dollar and the stocks are losing in value. Perfect example of it right there. Now here you can see we have that going on. Let's see if we can do this. Let's put we'll put the Dow Jones Industrial Average back up there again, and then we'll throw like the dollar index up. Now there is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see, the high obviously is over here and the low is over here. So it is working its way down. And what do we see going on in the stock index itself, the dollar index? And we'll put that up on the screen right there. And there it is, doing the same thing. It's going down in value. So in other words, the dollar is losing against pairs trades and are feeling it. All right. Let's see what else. Especially the last couple days, you can see there it's really taking a dive. All right, traders, we're out of here. I think we have a good title. I don't think it's too much of a complicated title. The title is, what is the title? The title is, where is it at? Market standards are the measurements. And I think that's important. And so when we look at any market, doesn't matter which market it is, it's the way to try to understand what we're looking at and how we're looking at it. And so it tells us, what's really going on there. All right, traders, we will catch you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Remember, it's an hour difference. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart trading day. Ta-ta for now.